introduce himself.
Hi guys. As Arjun said, I'm product lead at Tech Alchemy, and so yeah, we've been chatting with the guys at Kounotori for a little bit, helping sort of figure out the vision of what Kounotori's future is going to be, and what kind of platform we might want to build, and things like that. So really excited to be here.
Yeah, we had a really good meeting the other week. Essentially, what came away from that was we were looking at expanding and improving upon some of the concepts and ideas that we already had in place for the staking platform and the token ecosystem that we're looking to build. But essentially, sort of the two main things that came away from it was improving upon use case and giving the tokens themselves subsequent value and individual use case rather than just being a store of value. That was an important thing we took away from it. I mean, it's something we're obviously looking to implement down the line, but I think in this initial process, it's something we're now looking at more. Eye opener for us, something that we've had in mind as well, but obviously regulations and take into account where things are going. We looked at possible safeguards and implementing various things, like for example, we're looking at like implementing a KYC approval on staking larger amounts of tokens. It's not something that we set in stone, but just something we're considering because, of course, with regulations, you sort of need to stay ahead of the curve and take these things into account. So, I mean, that was just a couple of the bigger things we took away from that meeting itself. But we're continuing to speak to and continuing to communicate and talk about the direction we want this to go in. And we are... Oh, sorry, my screen's gone a bit funny. But yeah, no, as I say, these features aren't necessarily set in stone. They're just something that we're continuing to research and continuing to look into. Because obviously we're adapting the profile as we go. But I was speaking to someone in Discord today actually about the staking platform and where they see it going in the future, and whether or not we can produce like a rough outline for investors. And I thought it might be useful if you guys could speak a little bit about what you do in this initial phase and what you're looking to produce.
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, as Tech Alchemy's been around for like 5 years now, we've always helped lots of startups across different industries, everything from kind of fintech to agriculture, property, and so on. And recently, we've got very involved in the blockchain space, been working on very cool NFT concepts and other projects in property and film as well, investment side. And with Kounotori, what we're bringing to the table, so to speak, is that awareness of utility and making sure that the token really has legs in terms of other things like you've already mentioned, like regulation that's obviously coming, and where KYC is obviously an important factor in that.
Yeah. And what's really fun for us too is, when we take on a project like this, we take some time at the beginning to really understand what we're going to be building and how we're going to be building. And so obviously there's what Kounotori as a team want to build, but something that will be useful and exciting for the wider community too.
Yeah, I think that goes into kind of the way we work as a company. We're very open and feedback orientated. So we work, which is common in the industry, in agile sprints, but they're very much iterative. So what we produce in the first few weeks is everything from kind of design as well as the blockchain kind of insight is going to kind of iterate. And that means that designs can change, art styles and everything. That obviously the Kounotori brand has done really strong so far as well. We're loving being a part of that and kind of bringing it to the next stage.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, they're obviously going to produce really extensive and a massive amount of mock-ups and spreadsheets and various other things by the end of this. But what I thought would be a quite good idea for some of the investors just to come up with a bit of a rough outline, a bit of something to go on just in this early point regarding the staking platform and its features, which we'll put together in the next couple of days. It's something we've had in place, behind the scenes and sharing with you guys, but I think the investors are quite keen to see this at this point. Just a rough sort of mock-up. So yeah, I just thought I'd address that just quickly in the AMA sort of thing. I suppose I'll just quickly touch up on, because someone was asking about this earlier, on marketing. We've been speaking to current and existing partners at the minute. We're continuing to speak to them. We have some stuff lined up this week, some exciting things that we're still working out. But essentially, with our ongoing partners, we have several things that are literally ready to go. It's just at the minute we're monitoring the market and the situation currently, and just following accordingly. It's not really worth it, sort of spending all your marketing and when the market's in this sort of state. But we are watching the market and following accordingly, basically, and have some stuff planned up and ready. Sorry, yeah, I can hit. Are you talking, Yoan? Oh, I think his mic's gone funny.
I think his internet is not working properly.
It's just struggling.
Yeah.
So I just heard all these spamming messages. Right, yeah, sorry.
He can hear us, so it's fine, I think.
Do you want to speak the situation with Luna, perhaps, Adrian, or?
For now, I've told that many times that we have some plans, we have some big plans, but at current state, it's just not worth spending money, because we've had video with WeArePop and it gave us nothing really because of the market, because of the main crypto crash during the last 2 weeks. So I think market is recovering slowly. So hopefully this week or next week we're gonna continue our marketing strategy. We have 2 more big partnerships, plus I think Lunar actually has one. So yeah, there are 3, but it all costs money, and spending $10,000 for video that will
So after this initial meeting, right, you have your kind of the ideas that the team is looking for. If you're being like worst case scenario, what kind of timeline are you guys projecting and putting together for the team? And ensure there's probably multiple steps to the development of the platform. I guess, are you going to wait for deployment for the entire finished product, or would you roll it out in stages? And then are you guys thinking about staying on board once the product is released and then maintaining it? Anything that you can help that way, looking long term?
Sure, yeah. We're very much seeing this as a long-term partnership. I think from any development, our initial kind of discovery phase of going through all of the different options on how everything's built and what the platform is in this first state is a shorter period. I think given timeframes, it could be anywhere from usually our 2 to 3 month initial build, but from an ICO perspective, it's obviously very different in that sense. But as a platform, it's really kind of how long is a piece of string. But after our discovery phase, we're very certain on timescales. And what we like to do as a long-term partner, and one of the reasons we go through it, is see where the potential could be 2 years down the line, because then we're bringing in features that are involved there and kind of make sure they fit in place now as well, and kind of leading up to it. And that goes into everything, even from the design of how it looks and everything. I don't know if Jake, if
and
you
so
want to jump in on anything here.
yeah, I think as you said, over the next 2 or 3 months is when we'll be working with the Kounotori team just to make sure that we all understand, as I said, what we're building and how. Once we figure out what and how, that's when we sort of put a roadmap together, come up with the milestones. Because in this discovery phase, we could, in week 3, come up with a really good idea that just changes kind of how we think we're going to develop the platform or what steps we're going to take. And so at this point, we're not really sure what those milestones are, what the increments that will be delivered are, because we need to figure out how we're going to build it and break those things down. But I think, especially with something like this, the intention would be to build it in such a way that it's not, a year later and then finally all of it's ready all at once. I think especially growing a community and building things will definitely aim to build the roadmap out with the Kounotori guys to keep the community engaged. And if there's a way to have something with less functionality earlier, then we scope that out and we build the roadmap. But it's in this kind of 2 to 3 month period coming up that we really build out that roadmap, build out the full scope, and then get cracking.
Yeah, and I think just to add on top of that, like most of our projects have been in the app space as well as websites, and typically in the app space. As an example, Citymapper in the UK are really good at regular monthly releases, new features and things. So we obviously want to keep that momentum up as well, and that's a key thing for any tech development partner.
Awesome. And then one last follow-up. I'm sure you guys know how much money is like in crypto, especially in staking, right? So I guess my biggest question is kind of what is the security around the code that you guys are going to be putting into like the platform? Like what kind of measures do you guys make? Right. Another massive project that just came out, right, was Saitama, that they had to roll it all back because of like DDoS attacks, coding issues with, I don't know, it's a fucking rumor, but they're, outsourcing their development, right? And, so like what assurances do we have from you guys that, I mean, we're talking millions of dollars here that potentially it could be. So, yeah, if you guys could give some assurance around that or background,
sure.
that would be nice.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we've typically worked for several fintech platforms. Actually, Jake was involved quite heavily with a fintech bank recently we worked on, and security is a big part of what we do, especially in this space. And typically from everything from a code quality point of view is handled there. So as an example, we use SonarQube, which is a automatic code checking software that all of our developers have on their machines. We also keep to very strict company code quality standards. And from the kind of DDoS approach and everything else you mentioned there, typically we use, depending on where things are hosted, like AWS has AWS Shield, which has quite a lot of DDoS protection, and web application firewall, amongst other tools we use. And usually with our crypto projects, we also are open to a kind of a general cybersecurity audit, right? So before we put anything in production, there's, like any development company, there's a dev environment, a QA environment, and then a live environment. Everything will go through that kind of protocol.
Yeah. And of course we'll get we'll probably get the smart contracts audited by a third party, and from blockchain side of things, we'll make sure that we're sort of keeping up with the standards that of course are changing day by day, but we're in this is what we do every day. So we keep up with it, otherwise we'd be left behind already. So this is what we sort of do day in, day out in terms of smart contract auditing and pen testing to make sure that even if there are weaknesses to what we're building, we find them before it's somewhere live that someone else could find them. And so we, as Tech Alchemy, take a lot of pride in what we build. And so if we don't build a good product, it's just not something we do. We see ourselves as kind of the tech partners of the projects that we're a part of. And so that means that we want to put as much effort and security and best practices into the things that we do, because they're ours.
Yeah, and I think that's why you'll find from the approach I mentioned earlier to our team, we have everyone from designers, PMs, product leads, all get involved, and we're not like other agencies where we take hundreds of projects. We very much select ours, and we don't take more than 10, 15 in a year, and we're very much like a small outfit in that sense.
Yeah, great stuff. Fantastic question.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have anything else?
Someone is asking you guys if is it the first time they are working on a crypto project?
Oh,
No,
yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, we've been working on quite a few. Obviously, NDA is permitting. I don't think we can mention too many, but as I mentioned in the intro, we've worked on something in kind of the property space and also in kind of entertainment and investment as well. So I think our angle as a company has always been to build quality products, and then the crypto boom happened and we got involved. Myself and my co-founder have always been, very invested in crypto. At some point we were mining Ethereum in the early days, and now it's not profitable anyway. But it's definitely our passion, and I think a lot of the projects we see nowadays, we want it to have utility and have a use. So that's why everything that goes into what we do is the outcome as well, not just around just a crypto meme coin or anything like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you could tell as soon as the first time we spoke to you and you started showing us the stuff that you'd worked on, and it was just so apparent that you clearly have a massive knowledge in terms of blockchain and working with it over the years. So, yeah, no, very apparent. You got any other questions?
Hello.
Hello.
It is Jitters speaking. I do have something to say.
Yep.
I do like this is more off topic, but I do like the way Jake and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Arjun.
Yep.
The way you guys are presenting yourself, because you look very professional. In fact, I feel like my portfolio has increased tenfold with the way you guys exude yourselves. But I know that there is one comment here on Discord that I want to bring up. You guys are trying to be careful how much info you're trying to provide and how much you want to shed some light on. So it does make sense wanting to hold back on that. I know that there's some storkholders. They want a little bit of a tease here and there, like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going on? What are you guys doing? But you don't want to show off too much, because then there'll be other copycats who will take advantage of that. And unfortunately, it will take away from the amount of effort that Kounotori has provided. So I'm sure you guys have already touched on that already, right?
Yeah, so I think, especially in this phase, especially because we've had, a few chats with the guys and we're just starting this sort of discovery phase, we also don't want to say too much because there's a lot up in the air, I think. And there's a lot of discussions we're having behind the scenes and, which direction we're going to move. And so, as we mentioned earlier with this discovery phase that we call it, once we work our way through that, and once we've had more conversations with the guys and started to plan and see how this thing develops, then I think that's when probably us and the Kounotori guys will start to, I'm sure, parcel things out and start sharing more and more as it sort of develops, and as we get a bigger understanding of the plan and the roadmap. Because the last thing we would want to tell you guys is, there's going to be this thing in 2 months, and then actually there isn't. Yeah, exactly. So something that we do, I think very well as Tech Alchemy is make sure that we know what we're talking about before we raise the expectations of anyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a bit of both. In that, of course, we want to be protective with our own concepts and own ideas. But then, as the absolutely, as they were saying, things are being constantly adapted. I mentioned this to someone in Discord earlier. We're constantly evolving from that meeting alone. I mean, we took away quite a lot from that, and it's all good things. We're improving things and evolving the project, but it's hard to give a really clear and coherent description of what exactly each and every feature is going to be, and then having to let people down when something changes or something is completely different in a few weeks. So yeah, we're going to keep an open dialogue, and we're going to keep everyone in the loop in terms of progress. And I'm going to look at, after the conversation I was having with someone today, just giving a brief sort of outline, but keeping obviously some details a bit sort of low key, but just a brief description diagram outline of what we're actually doing at the moment. And I'll share that within the week.
Okay, that's reasonable, because I know one thing that even Kat brought up, which I myself I am to blame for this too, is that we forget that you guys also have other jobs that you're dealing with to help pay for anything else for your own personal reasons, and we do understand that you guys want to be here, you guys want to be with Kounotori and place so much effort into the project. But in the end, we're each still an individual, and you guys have a job to do that's away from Kounotori. So that made sense. So I thought about it. Yeah, that's true. They have a life outside. But I'm being tagged right now on some Discord questions. Going back to one from a couple of days ago, there is quite a bit of speculation about how we got a price listing on Binance so quickly. Can we ask how that happened, even when Saitama isn't even listed on it? How and why the timing?
I think they are picking that prices automatically. I mean, Saitama is listed there, just priced. I think it's just randomly they have some criteria to list us on that Binance, and that's it. Because I've checked it a few days ago, and there's loads of projects there that I've never seen before, actually. So I think they are just picking projects from at Etherscan or Textools. I'm not sure. We definitely haven't applied for that. So we're as surprised as you are, guys.
All right. The next one is, I think this is one for Discord only. What happened to Crypto Boss? Did we drop him as an influencer?
Right. Do you want to answer that one, Adrian?
I mean, he wasn't really helpful because we firstly hired him for 2 weeks. We were paying him, I think it was $1,000 per week, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was first 2 weeks. We were just testing him, and to be honest, we've done some research on his Twitter, and 90% of his followers are bots, actually. So it's fake accounts. So he wasn't helpful at all. So we decided to just leave it and find someone else.
I mean, these things happen with crypto. I mean, we've had some fantastic influencers, and we're working and talking to some fantastic people. But yeah, in that one case, it was just it didn't work out. Don't know if his heart was particularly in the project, as opposed to a lot of the other people who have been working with us. So yeah, I suppose that's all there is to that.
That was a good call.
All right. But the next question, I did see a comment saying like props and bullish on the handsome gentleman on Telegram right now.
It's these guys. We never get that usually.
Believe it or not, Jake is the more well-dressed one amongst us all. We have a little in-joke in the office that he's always the one that has the suit on.
I'm smarter in a suit. It makes me better. So you want me in a suit, guys?
No worries. No, it's. I mean, it does. Like I said before, it does show off of a bit of professionalism, like you aren't in like some like pajamas. I even appreciate the way Gerion has a Kounotori T-shirt as well, representing the project.
It looks good.
Yeah, that's the other question I have here is other than the staking platform, have there been any other utility apps that have been talked about, i.e. step app to earn token or burn token?
It's definitely, I mean, even now, it's something we're talking about more. It's something that we've talked about in the past and something that we wanted to implement down the line. As we've talked about before, we always have seen Kounotori as a brand. It's why we built it the way we have. But currently, again, I'm not sure how much I can talk about it because it's all up in the air and we're constantly adapting, evolving as we go. But we're looking at adding more utility than we intended in these early stages for sort of the token ecosystem and the staking platform itself. That's all stuff being researched. But long term, I mean, we're very open in that we can take it in any direction. We're not limited by intellectual property issues or anything like that. We can literally take this in any direction we like. I think we've talked about this before on previous AMAs, but yeah, be it NFTs, gamification, we're looking at everything basically, and we're considering it earlier than we were planning on currently. So.
Also, it's unfortunate that Yoan's camera's not on. Is he having
Yeah,
connection?
I'm not sure.
Oh yeah,
I think he's struggling with the internet, I think, by the looks of it. Oh. Hello, mate. Yeah, he's here.
There's one here on Telegram. Question for Tech Alchemy. You guys mentioned that you only undertake certain projects. What was the main appeal of KTO that made you want to undertake the development for the project without really revealing too much information, though?
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
we would just really like the concept. I think everything from what you've already done and also the kind of general long-term staking platform's ability. And I guess as most crypto projects, we're very much like it when the team's doxed and there's no like, you know, we can put a face to the name. We've met them in person and we really gel as a team. And I think that's something that really goes understated. Last thing we want as Tech Alchemy to be involved in any kind of like meme coins or anything that also could damage our reputation, right?
Yeah, and it was also refreshing. Everything Arjun said as well. Just, you know, we like the idea and the sort of way it was pitched, and you know, you have a roadmap already. It was refreshing dealing with people that already kind of knew what they had to do or knew what they didn't know yet. You know, they were open to all the things that we spoke about, but the fact that a community was being built already because they just know that in order to do this, you need to have a community and a Discord set up and a Telegram and all these things. Having the coin minted already, having the roadmap on the website with obviously a plan. It was nice that, you know, things were thought out and there was meaning behind things. And then when we kind of raised what we thought in terms of utility and different functionalities, they were open to it and did some internal research, and then now we're discussing all these ideas. So it was immediately very collaborative, but starting from a place of kind of this knowledge and this roadmap. And so it was yeah, it was just really good right from the start.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of us. I think we're actually increasing the stockholders who are believing in the project big time. It's I know that a lot of buzzwords are being thrown around with so many crypto projects, but what has been pulling people a lot is the transparency here, especially with the devs being doxed. So that's a huge plus. A lot of altcoins don't really do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
that buzzword thing. Sorry, the buzzword thing is especially. I mean, we get a lot of emails in with a NFT marketplace and whatever, and there's no point to a lot of them. It's just because that's what people are doing now. And so, you know, Kounotori having a plan and an idea and kind of a vision was huge.
Yeah, and know the space really well. I think there's a lot of people, that we've also seen that come in as leads and they don't really know what they're talking about. So it's also good to see that everyone in the team is super passionate about crypto and really understands what it is involved to get us to the next stage.
Yeah, and I mean, we're really growing. I mean, between ourselves, the coding team that we have on board, and the marketing Loom strategy, I mean, we've got a really, really solid and knowledgeable team now on board. So hopefully you can see that. And we'll continue to keep you updated and posted on what's going on. Sometimes it can slip from us because we'll have had a really productive week. We'll have done a lot of stuff in the week, and then we'll suddenly think, "Oh, hang on a minute, we've got an AMA to announce on Friday or something like that." But no, sometimes these things happen. Sometimes it just slips from us, and we think because we've had a productive week, but we're not giving enough news or something during the week. These things happen.
All right, this one is on Telegram. I'll go back to the Discord ones because I do see some Discord ones popping up. So don't worry, guys. I'll come back to you. This one's a little bit of a more simple answer. Have the coders got a bag of KTO? Wink, wink. And also, what kind of brand the suit Jack is wearing?
The suit is Calvin Klein. I just checked, actually. As for the bag of KTO, I don't know about that.
All right, then that way they don't say I didn't ask the question. Like, hey, jitters, my question too. How many devs are working on the project?
That's an interesting question. So I think that will be sort of fleshed out in the discovery phase as well. It depends on kind of the roadmap and the timelines that we kind of agree and go back and forth. Obviously, to a certain extent, more devs means quicker, to some sort of break point. But yeah, it just depends on kind of the timelines that we discuss with Kounotori and where we want to get to at certain milestones. And so I think that will definitely be a discussion between us to figure out what works the best and, what fits in with the budget and what we want to do and, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I guess just to add to that, sorry guys, I was battling my charger because I'm losing battery on my iPhone. But yeah, in terms of our team, we've got a lot of devs. So across all sorts of different stacks, we've got 60 people or so in India alongside our team in the UK. And just in general, one thing I wanted to just mention on the kind of tech side is, with all of our resource and collective minds, that's what really is the power of our discovery phase. We don't really have any limit where someone who's worked on a particular industry or particular type of utility can't just come in from our team and help out with that. That's why we keep it so flexible at this point until we figure out exactly what we're building and put that into a roadmap as well.
I'll go back to the ones on Discord. And this goes back to, how will the NFTs be claimed / received?
In regards to the NFTs, there's going to be quite a lot more NFTs than the Christmas collection, so sending them out will be more challenging. However, we're going to do our best to be able to send them out without you having to take any action, just like the Christmas collection. However, if that doesn't work out, there will be detailed instructions provided for everyone on exactly how to claim them. The claiming will be on Polygon network, so it's not going to cost you any significant amount to claim them, and you will be able to claim them at any point in the future, as long as you're one of the qualifying wallets. And we'll release the lists of each wallet that's qualified for each particular tier of the NFT rarity as well.
There we go. And thank you, Yoan, for the answer on NFTs. And this one's wow, there's a lot of questions coming in. Here we go. I've always wondered how projects pay out their rewards when staking. How does that work?
As in our tokenomics of what we're going to do is, I'm not sure how much I should go into it. Adrian, shall I talk about the other tokens or?
I mean, we were already told people that there's going to be another token, mintable token.
Yeah, true.
That's all we can say right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're still researching, but with the possibility of having a second token on another network as a reward, I can't say too much more. Probably said too much. I don't know.
I think the possibilities are endless. We're looking into a lot of different options, and obviously blockchain experts on our end are going to suggest which is better as well, ultimately, for the platform.
All right, no worries. Yeah, as long as there is some information you guys have that you can't give out yet, that means that there's something to look forward to, which is something promising anyway. This one's what are some of the projects that the coders worked with that we would recognize?
Good question. Let me think. So there's quite a few products we worked on, not necessarily that are released crypto right now, but we worked on an advertising platform that actually it was called Toad, one of our first projects, and that was featured on Dragon's Den in the UK, where our client actually raised funding from Sadiq Khan. You can find that out on YouTube. We've also worked on various different projects in the property space, in a kind of mortgage kind of financing space as well there. I'm not sure if I can say any more about other clients without permission, to be honest, but maybe we can get next time on an AMA, we can go through some projects we worked on, but we do need to probably get permission from our clients first. But most of them have been really sizable. I don't know if we can actually mention any more, but a fairly large kind of bank, micro bank we recently worked with, so can't really say much more, but it's a really sizable project where we're working on the kind of mobile banking side of their product.
Yeah, they all found your website already. They are going through your website, so
sure,
they know everything.
As I mentioned in the Telegram as well, it needs a bit of a refresh. Some of the numbers in terms of like someone mentioned 45 developers, 8 designers, 2 founders. I think we'll probably need to update that as well to some newer numbers.
Yeah, it's at least a year old. It's always the bottom of the priority list. Everyone at the team is working super hard. So
yeah, we're working on too many fun things to update our website, but we'll have to for sure.
All right, thank you guys. This next one is, I'll go back to Telegram. This one is at, there we go. With such a strong docs team and now a great dev team as well, could the KTO ecosystem perhaps be a launch pad for other projects? An example, tokens, NFTs in the future too.
Yeah, we can take a look on this. I think we've had few ideas about it too. So it may be doable in the future.
All right, say straight to the point. That's it's like very good answer. Have we talked about any names for the app? Any ideas of what it might be?
It's still being determined, really. We have come up with some stuff, but it's still being finalized.
Yeah, Lee had some really good ideas actually that relate directly to the East Asian theme of Kounotori and the Stork theme and all of that. Yeah,
the ecosystem ideas and how it all marries together with the imagery and the I don't want to give anything away, but how we've explained things previously to do with what the Stork's purpose is and how that marries into the project. It's all going to come together really nicely if we go forward with that vision. But yeah, we have definitely thought about it considerably.
Okay, there's a question I got to go back to because it looks like I read that incorrectly. He wants to know how they pay for the rewards. I don't understand how staking platforms afford to pay him out. That's to the question previously that said, I've always wondered on how projects pay out the rewards when staking. How does that work? I guess I read that wrong incorrectly the last time.
So the thing is that, like I said, it's gonna be new token. It's gonna be mintable token, like something like Cake on Pancake Swap, or Bone on Shiba Swap. So it's doable, but the thing is to make this token attractive to people, so they won't dump it, after they get rewards. So that's what we're working on right now. It's not a problem to make a token with a value. It's the problem is to keep that value. And that's what we are trying to figure out right now. Of course, we have a few ideas on that. Like we have a few ideas for pretty much everything. So we're just waiting for research phase with Tech Alchemy right now.
There we go. And again, I apologize for reading that incorrectly. I know that there's Discord and Telegram, and I got some DMs and questions too. So again, I apologize. But here's next one. Will there be updates to the KTO project via the Tech Alchemy medium?
Sorry, my phone fell again. I'll take that. But yeah, for sure. Like, I think once there's updates in general from kind of the dev side, there's definitely, once things are set in stone, we can actually be very transparent about how things are. Obviously, I know that's a big part of the crypto community, and as much as Kounotori want us to be transparent, we will be transparent. And I think that's probably a good thing. And ultimately, was the question referring to specifically transparency as a company? Obviously, as press, we from time to time also, once the Kounotori's met a goal, where we publish on social media and things like that. That's also what we're open to.
Yeah, be absolutely ideal.
All right, thank you. It's I think we're almost there. This next one is, nodes and NFTs seem really productive and popular right now. Stake platforms, not as much. Do you see what you're developing as something that is going to productively draw investors? Are the coders excited based on their experiences with other projects they've been involved with?
Yeah, definitely. I think as we said before, just in terms of the sort of excitement side of the question, that's kind of what drove us to just be part of this project, is the kind of vision of the platform in general and what the guys want to achieve. And then now realizing that they're open to kind of our feedback and figuring out as a collective what we want to do together. I think it'll be really cool to kind of see what comes of it.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, like, that means that anything is really possible, from NFTs being sent to a wallet on the platform that's hosted, or in terms of how we handle NFTs in the future as well on the platform. And if there's kind of airdrops, all sorts of things you would have seen in other projects, we're, as a company, we're always on top of them. And in terms of our advice to Kounotori, it would be what is the best option that they want to leverage for now, and what other features can we actually push out there that keeps things exciting as well in the space.
Yeah, and it's fun for us. Like, if Kounotori comes in with an idea, and then that means in the discovery phase we get to make a fun proof of concept, then that's why we do it. It's fun, and it helps us learn more, and it brings it all to life, and then all of a sudden we're building it. So yeah, it's what we love, and it's nice that other people love it too.
Yeah, and in terms of adapting and changing earlier on, people have responded really positively to the NFTs that we've released so far, and to the ones that we're releasing now. The guy who produced them for us is absolutely fantastic. He does an amazing job. So we've taken that on board, and it's something we're looking at and entertaining the idea of implementing that somehow into the staking platform. But we'll have more details on that when we've got more confirmation on how exactly that will work and whether or not we go down that route this early on. But yeah.
Also, word of warning to the ladies: Jake just took off his suit, so please step back.
I've been so hot for so long, and I haven't been taking it off because I knew that was coming.
No worries. I try not like my style of asking questions. I'll ask the questions, but then I'll add a little bit of humor, which I hope is
perfect.
not too much. But
no, it's good.
But let me go back to the question here before on Discord. In regards to the OG NFTs, this is more to Captain Smith, Yoan, and Gerion. Tier 1 will be purely cosmetic, but Tier 2 and Tier 3 NFTs will have special perks on. What perks will they serve?
I think you're muted, I think, Adrian.
Sorry.
You're right.
My power was too loud, and I had to mute myself. Yeah, that perks will gonna be probably additional things for staking platform. We're not sure yet which how perks, what perks, but I think Lee is working on it. He has few ideas. He has actually written full list of that perks. I think it's about 10 different perks for different NFTs, so it's gonna be quite big.
Yeah, we'll definitely expand on that. That's why you muted. We'll definitely expand on that further as we're going along. But yeah, as Adrian says, that's something Lee's been working on really hard. So yeah, we'll have to keep you updated with that.
All right, I'm gonna ask a little lighthearted question here. Under Yoan's name, it says human, but that's something a bot would say. Are we sure he is not a bot?
I'm not sure about it.
Pretty real when we met him the other day.
That's true. It could be a very advanced Android, though, actually.
Will the platform be native to ERC20 or on an L2 on said chain?
No comment for now.
No worries. All right, I believe that's for Discord, but going back to Telegram, someone needs to tell these guys thank you for focusing on utility. We'd probably make a meme about it. Do you already know which program languages will be used on this project?
I don't think so. I think the discovery will probably inform that. We have coverage on pretty much everything, and so it'll just depend on what's best for what we decide in the discovery phase. But yeah, as I said, we're pretty well versed, and we're pretty well spread out across all the stacks, so I wouldn't worry too much.
All right, this question is for Kat, but Kat isn't here with us, is he? Let's see.
We'll get him later.
I'm sorry?
We'll get him later if it's a question for later. We'll get him to do a text answer.
It's more of a, like, will Kat ever open an OnlyFans? I'm sure he'll see this later.
Yeah.
We'll definitely respond that, yeah.
All right, I don't see any other questions on Discord or Telegram. All the ones in my DMs have been answered. If there are any ones I've missed, let me know. But I believe that's it for now. Yeah,
and as always, we've got all this recorded for later. Anyone who's missed out and hasn't had the chance to jump on. So, but if you have any other questions and you're watching this now, just type them in AMA questions or on Telegram, we'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. So, but I think we're pretty much there.
This one's being brought up on Discord. I don't know if this is a inside joke, but it's saying people want to see Doggo.
Oh yeah, sorry. My bad.
Arjun, show them Rocket.
Oh,
The
right.
star of Tech Alchemy.
Beautiful.
Our office dog. Someone should make a meme of him. I should do that. A meme
Absolutely.
What I'm thinking is have like a Kounotori outfit for your dog.
Yeah.
All right, there. Oh, it looks like more questions popped up. Question for Gerion: How has your health been? Are you on the mend?
I'm fine. I'm fine already. So nothing to be worried about.
Oh, that's right. You felt ill for a while there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Jake. Oh, not Jake. There we go. What kind of dog is that? And I feel like the answer is a corgi, right?
He's a Portuguese Podengo. It's quite a rare breed, and I don't know if this is a fact yet, but I'll let you guys find out. But I created an NFT for my dog, and hopefully, if ever NFT pets are a thing, it will probably be the first Portuguese Podengo dog ever in an NFT.
Superb.
So we'll see if that ever becomes a thing.
All right. Just when I said that looks like that's it for the questions, I get more pop up. What were some ideas for the community versus devs the tournament?
Oh, that's probably one for Kat, I think, because I was a bit absent for that, to be honest.
Yeah, we can sort something out, but
Yeah, I'm up for anything. I'm keen.
yeah, don't know what kind of game yet. He wanted to do Tekken, I think. Tekken
If
tournament.
it's Tekken and he's on our team, we're sorted, aren't we?
I mean, he said he wants to be in community team, not us.
Well,
Oh, right. Oh, well, dear. That's
we're
not good.
doomed.
I was good when I was 12.
Yeah.
I do have a question myself. It's more of a personal one. The trip that you guys all took together, how did that go? Did you guys enjoy yourselves? Anything that you guys like to mention, like, oh, hey, we had fun doing this, or we talked about, some other stuff that hasn't been mentioned. How did it go?
Yeah, it was really productive, really insightful. Ideally, I mean, we talked about before we wanted to try and do an AMA at the end, but we were just talking about the project and going over absolutely everything. It was really productive, really insightful, and we came away from that a lot wiser. We've been discussing how to improve upon and how to evolve the tokenomic ecosystem that we were looking at creating. So, yeah, no, it was a fantastic meeting. They're really knowledgeable, really clever guys, and very welcoming. They made me a lovely coffee.
Thanks.
And you all got to see Kat's face, didn't you?
No, we didn't.
No.
Not everyone.
No.
The Tech
No,
Alchemy
no,
guys
we-
didn't.
We saw his disguise.
Actually, no one saw his face, not even us.
No.
Wow.
He could have been following me. Who knows?
Didn't you guys go for beers after? Because did you have to drink out of a straw or something?
No.
We had a quick,
We did go for a beer,
quick
but
bonding meeting afterwards.
yeah, he drank directly from through the suit.
Yeah.
What?
It was
Really?
impressive.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Yeah, he had cake flavored beer or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's odd. I was boring. I just had lagers.
But through your face, not through the morph suit.
through my mouth. Yes.
Double boring even.
Well, the one thing is we'll look back in a year from now. We're going to be looking back, and these are going to be the faces that we'll remember that made us all very well faced. So we got to think of ahead of time.
No, thank you. You've done a fantastic job reading these questions, my man. Perfect. I think, unless anyone has anything else, again, like I say, don't hesitate to ask questions later, and we'll try and get back to you. But I think we're there. Oop. Lost it. There we are.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's been over an hour, so
Yeah. I just want to definitely take the time to thank you two from Tech Alchemy for coming by and introducing yourselves. It's really good of you.
Yeah, no worries. Anytime.
thank you.
Hopefully it's been insightful for everyone who's checked in and has been listening. So,
Okay. So
yep, I think we're there.
Cool.
Okay.
thanks.
So yeah, we'll keep you updated. We may or may not have another AMA this week. We'll keep you updated on that. But yeah, that's it. Okay,
Cool.
guys.
Bye, guys.
See you.
Thanks again
Awesome.
for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.